be nice. Folks, it has been a harrowing 24 hours for me. And not just for me, but for Samira. Samira has just exited the bedroom, which is kind of the makeshift hospital / hospice. And she has spent the last 18 hours in there, curled up on the bed. Sometimes I would go in and find her burrowed underneath the blankets, curled in a little ball. I had my JBL speaker with a 50 hertz hum that has a with it, that laying on the right spot on the bed causes the entire bed to slightly vibrate. That actually ran on a loop. It's an hour-long video that I have on a playlist that I just put loop on the video, and I ran it for 18 hours. Yesterday while I was working as well, there was something running in the bedroom so that she could be laying on it and trying to heal. Basically, if you recall several months ago, I believe I would have mentioned on a video about my cat having fluid build up inside that disgorged itself, and how amazing it was to see that this little kitty cat can contain like a gallon of pus. So last night she did it again. Now the difference between this time and the last time is that I was home. I was here to help her with it. The last time I was at work all day, and I didn't know that this had happened until I come home, find my cat, entire back half of the cat, hindquarters and all, just covered in some kind of paste glue thing that's hardened. And she'd been having, in this case, I noticed she'd been having difficulty urinating, and I was working on figuring out if this was caused by a kidney stone or another fluid buildup or an organ failure. And thankfully, it seems to have just been a fluid buildup. This may end up happening every time she goes into heat. I don't know. I'm going to have to look and see if maybe she is going to be able to handle recovery of surgery after getting neutered, or spayed. Because that will put a stop to that. But basically, I have used every single towel and wash rag in my house, as well as many blankets, to keep her as comfortable as possible, allow her to have these, they're basically like labor contractions. She gave birth, was in labor, giving birth to this ooze. And it came out copiously, and every chance that I had to sop it up before it got all over the place and soaked into the mattress and everything else, I did so. That's the difference between this time and last time. This time there's no real mystery for me to figure out what happened. So it was unpleasant. She did okay. She's a trooper. She was happy when I was in there, but then other times that I would leave and let her be and close the door, that, like I said, I would come back and she's nuzzled up underneath the blankets, curled up, having convulsions. The poor thing had these involuntary contractions that were squeezing out this liquid, allowing her other excretory systems to work properly after that as well. Everything was getting bunched up inside and backed up. That the sound my poor baby was making was like literally sounded like a toddler having like the worst poop ever. Just like that's what it sounded like. It was bad. Gave her as much comfort as possible. Kept the heat on in the room. I actually probably should go turn that off. I had the radiator going. I closed the AC vent, and she seemed to like the warmth better, the darkness if possible, so it just kind of alternates some lighting. And she became aware that this was a healing process, and she stopped struggling or trying to leave the bed. So then she stayed up there, and I tried to keep her out of her own filth as much as possible. And myself, while she was in there, worked on getting all the laundry done. I've been setting up step ladders and workhorses outside as makeshift clotheslines to kind of speed the process of air drying, because running the tumble with towels takes forever. So I'm air drying everything out there and then tumbling it to get all the hair and dander and everything out of it, but they are fully washed. Started using a little bit of the apple-scented Great Value equivalent of Dawn dish soap as a pre-wash and a slight dilution of my laundry detergent. And what's happened with that is that the laundry is actually smelling fresh coming out of my washing machine now. So I think it also kind of combated some mold inside the washer. But anyways, I've got more laundry going, more towels and things. This lady has had a bath, and I think I got most of the stuff off, so maybe one more bath later this evening, much later once we have her dried out and find out how much is still coming out. But she has disgorged all the liquid. She's no longer bloated. She's no longer like solid to the touch on places that should be squishy. And she's not complaining near as much as she was, which is good. So this is the second time this has happened. This is the thing that does happen with cats, and oftentimes, unfortunately, the owners not knowing what to do end up either having the cat put down, or there could be, some internal damage or suffering. Like I said, in my case, I've got this bass speaker that I use to simulate cat purrs that help them get into a healing mode. And it's definitely benefited, because this process was weeks long last time of her building up to this, and this time it was a few days, and I got her to disgorge. So knowledge is power. So yeah, I was up until about 6 this morning, helping her out, making sure the laundry was going, making sure I had clean linens to sleep on the couch. And now, once these towels that are in the washer now are done, and I put them out onto the clothesline, I got all of the sheets, comforter, etc., from the bed to wash. So that's my activity today. I don't have to work, so I'm going to be doing that all day. And then when she is dried off and back to regular activity, then I'm going to check her out for further oozing. Last time she was pussing out a little bit, drip, drip, drip here and there. So that's the other thing with doing all the laundry, is having clean towel and blanket surfaces to put on basically everything, so that she can go around and live comfortably while this finishes off. And then eventually that will stop. And then another month or two after that, it'll probably start up again. But at this point, she's done super well. She had a lot of flushing and inflammation go on last night that has now receded. Her colors are back to normal, and just a wild experience. Welcome to being a cat dad. I guess I'm going to do a different video for all the other stuff going on in the world, but that's the initial update that I have.